In the summer of 1587, 115 English settlers landed on a small island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. They built homes. They planted crops. They were the first English colony in the New World. 3 years later, a supply ship finally returned. The colony was gone. Not destroyed. Not burned. Simply empty. Every house still standing. Not a single body. Not a single grave. Not a single sign of struggle. The only clue left behind was a single word, carved into a wooden post. Croatoan. No blood. No note. No explanation. Over 400 years later, we still don't know what happened to them. The mission was backed by Sir Walter Raleigh, one of the most powerful men in England. 115 men, women, and children sailed across the Atlantic to establish a permanent English foothold in America, nearly 2 decades before Jamestown would claim that title. Among them was Virginia Dare, born just weeks after they landed. She was the first English child ever born in the New World. Life was hard from the beginning. Relations with neighboring native tribes were tense, food was scarce, and the colony's governor, John White, made a difficult decision. He sailed back to England for supplies, promising to return within months. He left behind his daughter, his granddaughter, baby Virginia, and everyone he knew. What should have taken months took 3 years. England was at war with Spain. Every ship, including White's, was seized for military use. He begged, pleaded, and eventually managed to secure passage back across the ocean. When he finally reached Roanoke Island in August of 1590, on his own granddaughter's 3rd birthday, he found the settlement standing exactly as he'd left it. Except, no one was there. The houses were dismantled carefully, not destroyed, as if the colonists had planned to leave and take the materials with them. Heavy items were buried, apparently to be recovered later. There were no bodies, no blood, no sign of an attack or a struggle of any kind. The only message left behind was carved into a fence post at the entrance to the settlement. 1 word, 9 letters. Croatoan. White recognized the word immediately. It was the name of a nearby island, and of the Native American tribe that lived there, people the colonists had friendly relations with. Before he left for England, White and the colonists had agreed on a signal. If they were forced to leave the settlement, they would carve their destination into a post. If they left under distress, they would also carve a cross above it. There was no cross. By every account, this should have been reassuring. It suggested the colonists left peacefully, likely to live among the Croatoan people on the nearby island. White tried to sail to Croatoan Island to find them. A storm forced his ship back. Then his crew, low on supplies and desperate to return home, refused to try again. White sailed back to England. He never returned to America. He never learned what happened to his daughter, his granddaughter, or the rest of the colony. For centuries, the Roanoke colonists were simply called the Lost Colony, and the trail went cold. But in recent decades, archaeologists have returned to the search using tools John White never had. Excavations on Hatteras Island, the modern name for the historical Croatoan territory, have uncovered English artifacts dating to the same era. Gun parts, tools, a signet ring. DNA testing on families with long-documented roots in the region has found genetic markers consistent with English ancestry from that period, alongside Native American heritage passed down for generations. The evidence increasingly suggests the colonists didn't vanish. They may have simply integrated, married into the Croatoan community, adopted their way of life, and were absorbed into a culture that already knew how to survive on this coastline in ways the English settlers did not. If the evidence points toward peaceful integration, why is Roanoke still called one of history's great unsolved mysteries? Because no direct proof has ever definitively closed the case. Theory 1. They joined the Croatoan people peacefully, exactly as the carved word suggests. Theory 2. They were killed by a rival tribe or Spanish forces before ever reaching Croatoan Island. Theory 3. Disease and starvation scattered the survivors long before anyone could record what became of them. No mass grave has ever been found. No definitive written record survived. Every theory rests on fragments, artifacts, DNA fragments, and a single carved word that may mean everything or nothing at all. Virginia Dare would be the first English child born in America. She may have also become the answer to one of the deepest unsolved mysteries in American history. Not because she vanished, but because she may have simply become someone else's history instead of our own. Somewhere on that coastline, more than 4 centuries ago, 115 people chose silence over explanation. So here's the question. If the descendants of the lost colony are still walking among us today, does that mean the mystery was ever really unsolved at all? Let me know your theory in the comments, because the next file we open might be even harder to close.